Holiday treat number 4, we're making fried turkey today. Welcome to Help at Home, your resource for great recipes and easy learning. I'm Jim Hightower. Today we're making breaded fried turkey. It's one of our family favorites, and we've even gotten into some arguments over it that went kind of like this. I want fried turkey this year. I don't think I'm going to make any. You have to. At any rate. So grab your pen and paper. Here come those easy ingredients. You'll need 1.5 teaspoons of seasoned salt, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of Tony's Creole seasoning, 1 1/4 cups milk, 1 cup flour, and a whisk never hurts. So we're going to put our spices in, put our milk in, and the reason that a whisk is so good at this is because it can get kind of thick, and also if you need to beat out any of those lumps, but of course you could use a hand mixer if you wanted to. Before we start, let's talk about frying and grease and heat. In case you didn't know, but you probably do, it gets very hot. It's dangerous. Keep your children away from here. You can't control grease, and sometimes it will splatter at the most inopportune time. That's a safety tip. Don't avoid it. Let's heat up our grease. Let's pour in at least 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more. One thing you may not have seen before is what's called a splatter shield. It's just a circle, a little hoop with mesh on it, and you can put it over your pan when you're frying. That could come in handy. I've got my batter, and it's about medium thickness. It's not heavy thick, but it's not runny. Some things that will help along the way. Have a pair of tongs, I have a small strainer, and I have a large serving fork. You'll understand why in a minute. Let's take a look at our prep work. This is the bounty that was Big Bertha, the 21.6 pound turkey. And we've already fried half of her and shared. But you want some nice pieces. They don't have to be perfect. They absolutely can be irregular. Large pieces are nice. You don't want them too thick. No thicker than that, really. About a 1/4 inch-ish thick. But also, if you've got what we call the dregs, these little pieces that don't amount to anything, fret not, because we'll tell you what to do with those in a minute. I'll set them on the very side. So I'm going to get me several nice sized pieces, and if they're too big like that, I'll just tear it. Alright, I've got everything set up here. I've got my pan on my induction plate, I've got my batter, I've got a plate with 2 paper towels folded over, and I have my tongs. You want to take your nice pieces. See, these are my nice pieces. These are the dregs. At any rate, nice pieces. This one's a little bit big, but who cares? Because somebody will eat it. You just mix it up. Get them covered in the batter. And here's the trick with this serving fork. You take your piece and let that batter drip down back into the bowl. Oh, come on. Truthfully, this grease is not getting hot enough. Alright, kids. Well, change of plans. That adapter just was not warm enough, and I had to move over here to the regular stove. See, those are sticking because I got them too close. But then I find it very handy to just have my bowl of batter right here next to my pan. Add more in, keep going. If you have your heat too high, you will find that pieces will start to brown before you can fill the pan, and you can't keep up. So don't have your heat too high, and also don't burn your grease, because if you do that, you're just going to have to start all over. Welcome to the holidays. And just use your tongs and separate them if you need to. I would run this about medium, a little higher if you need it. It all depends on your pan. I do not recommend using a cast iron skillet because I can tell you from experience it sticks to the pan, which is never really nice. Now, I can tell this one's getting brown, so I just turn it over. This one looks pretty close, and sometimes you turn them over too soon, but if you do, you just leave them, and then when that side's brown, turn it back over. It's hard to mess this up unless you get it going too high or way too low. And a couple of them are pretty close, like this one right here. Not quite. And you'll start to learn, but you absolutely have to have a pair of these tongs. I mean, you could do it with a fork, but I wouldn't recommend it. Now that one's ready. Load your pan up quickly, because once your oil gets hot, or your grease, it won't take long for them to brown. You can see how handy this large serving fork is to let that batter drain down. Now see, that one right there, that's about ready to turn. It is ready to turn. And it just takes about a couple of minutes per side once it's really warmed up. Like I say, sometimes you turn them too soon, and if you do, who cares? Don't let anybody tell you you're doing it wrong unless you burn the grease, and then you are. Now, meanwhile, back at your plate, people are coming and grabbing these, and they're just eating them. Woo. Okay. That's still a little bit warm. But, yummo. Uh-oh. Now see? There goes that splatter shield. We got wham, and nobody likes that because you can get burned. Be careful. And serving tips. This is just as good cold from the refrigerator as it is hot off the pan. So, there you go. And if it starts splattering like it did, you can always turn your heat down. Let's talk about those dregs here. I'm just going to take a handful here, drop it right in, and you mix all these up, just like you're making crab cakes or tuna croquettes or salmon croquettes. And you're thinking, well, that wouldn't make anything, I just have to throw it away. You don't, because look, once it starts going, it comes together just like a regular piece. And I thought I invented this, but Dad said he's been doing it for years, and nobody knew that these were made out of just little pieces. So don't throw anything away. And that's browning so fast, I couldn't even get some of my big pieces in. Ah, come on. Now, I'm treating these with care as I turn them over. Don't grab them and squeeze them because you'll crush them. This recipe was enough for a nice sized batch, but if you were going to do a lot, then I suggest you double the batter recipe and you'll be good to go. See, if you're not sure, you just turn over and look. I cannot imagine a Thanksgiving or a Christmas without this fried turkey. And thank you, Toto, which was Granddad Garrett. You can always turn your heat off a little bit early because grease is going to stay hot. This is going to be a soft, crispy taste. I don't know how to explain that. It's not going to be crunchy, although if you were of the mind that you wanted it to be crunchy, you could keep going. But if you burn these, you'd just be sad. If you're thinking, wait a minute, you didn't use that little strainer. Here it is. Hold on. So, if you're cooking a big pan of this, and you start getting these crumbles in there, they can burn, and you can just scrape in here and get them in your little strainer, and either toss them in the trash or put them in a bowl. Write that one down. Here's our finished pan of fried turkey, and it just really is super yummo. You just take it, you can pop it in or take a bite. Now, don't make the mistake that one of my relatives made, and they will remain nameless for shame reasons. Don't you dare make gravy for this. This is an absolute treat all on its own. And let me tell you, once you do it, I can't say this enough. People will be grabbing this and going off into a corner to eat it as their entire meal. When you're ready to store it, if there happens to be any left, and there's usually not, then you need to let it cool to room temperature before you bag it or put it in a bowl. Keep it in the refrigerator. It's yummy hot or cold. By the way, don't forget to save your turkey bones and the turkey carcass, no matter how that sounds. Bag them, save them, freeze them. You'll need them for January. Don't get left out. If you like this recipe for fried turkey, a Hightower favorite for decades, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and share with your friends who like to cook or just want to learn how. Drop me a line in the comments below about your experiences with this wonderfully delicious recipe and what else you'd like to see in the kitchen. Click the bell in the top right hand corner for notifications. I'm Jim Hightower, and remember, everyone needs help, even me. Merry Christmas. Welcome to that didn't work. And easy learning. I'm Jim Hightower. Yeah. Today we're making breaded reaper. Okay, this isn't gonna work. Stick them in the freezer. You'll need them for fit. Flapper. Stick them in your freezer. You're gonna need these beauties for juju.